An all-time great fantasy book trilogy combines elements of Harry Potter and the Chronicles of Narnia. J.K. Rowling and C.S. Lewis series are among the most pivotal in the history of the genre. The Chronicles of Narnia books are foundational to portal fantasy, in which characters travel from one world to another, especially with the titular wardrobe in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Lewis novels use portal fantasy to make religious allegory and timeless moral messages accessible to both younger and older readers. From the land of Narnia being created in The Magician's Nephew to its end in The Last Battle, the series also contains rich world building, with audiences getting to see the setting's full evolution. The enduring nature of these stories has led to numerous adaptations, with the latest being Greta Gerwig's upcoming Narnia movie. The Harry Potter books were published decades after The Last Battle, but they still prove to be deeply influential for the genre. Fantasy, especially fantasy targeted toward children and young adults, became far more mainstream as a result of Harry Potter's massive popularity. It became the defining hero's journey for an entire generation, launched a blockbuster movie franchise, and is now being revisited again in HBO's upcoming television adaptation. While it's not as well known as Harry Potter or the Chronicles of Narnia, The Magician's Trilogy by Lev Grossman is also among the best to ever come out of the genre. The Magicians is a perfectly dark mashup of Harry Potter and Narnia. The Magicians begins with Quentin Coldwater, a 17-year-old who is dissatisfied with the world he lives in and who is obsessed with a Narnia-esque book series called Fillory and Further. His life changes when he learns that magic is real and begins attending Brakebills, which is a school for magic. This is only the tip of the iceberg, though, as he goes on to learn the stories of Fillory may not be as fictional as he believed. The setup of Quentin going from an ordinary life to attending a magic school is intentionally reminiscent of Harry Potter, as are the blatant parallels between the Chronicles of Narnia and Fillory and Further. Instead of the Pevensey siblings, it's the Chatwin children who travel to Fillory and become kings and queens, and instead of Aslan, Ember and Umber are the gods who created the magical land. What sets The Magicians apart is how it cleverly and darkly subverts Harry Potter and the Chronicles of Narnia. Unlike Hogwarts, which becomes Harry's true home and changes his life for the better, Brakebills does not provide the same kind of meaning and comfort for Quentin. Learning magic turns out to be largely boring and complicated. It does not fix the true problems in his life or the lives of his friends, and when he pushes the boundaries of magic too far, there are real and often deadly consequences. As Quentin learns more about the Fillory and Further books, it becomes clear that they are not the fun adventures they seem to be. Disturbing truths are revealed about the Chatwins and how the books came to be. These revelations also have a devastating impact on Quentin and his loved ones in what often feels like a nightmarish version of Narnia. The Magician's Trilogy is great from start to finish. The first book in the trilogy, The Magicians, is the best, but the entire series ends up being phenomenal too. If not for the cliffhanger at the very end, The Magicians feels as though it could be a complete and satisfying standalone story. The sequels, The Magician King and The Magician's Land, prove that it was the right decision to continue the story, with there being far more to say about the fantasy genre and the established characters. While Quentin and his point of view remain central to the narrative, the sequels take time to explore other characters with nuance, especially where Julia Wicker and her perspective are concerned. During Quentin's time at Brakebills and after graduating, Julia is on an entirely different kind of magical journey, which expands the world far beyond what is seen in the first novel. Along with being entertaining and subversive from start to finish, the trilogy also sticks the landing with The Magician's Land. All lingering questions are answered, the character arcs have conclusions that feel natural and earned, and the resolution feels thematically fitting. There is a television series adaptation of The Magicians that aired for 5 seasons on Sci-Fi, and it was generally well received. In many respects, the show is very different from the novels, though, which are valuable in their own distinct way, and are must-reads for fantasy fans.